In this video, let's cover some more with the CAD software that comes with the GDS WinBidPro V15 program. And what we're going to do is take this elevation and open it up in the free CAD program just by clicking the CAD link here on the left. And let's talk about text specifically. So there's obviously a lot of text that's already been added to your drawings. The glass little labels, dimensions, the name of the framing system, job name, things like that. So you can always add more text and modify existing text. So let's actually check that out. If we want to modify some existing text, if we're not in a command right now, so there's no, you look down here at the command line, there's nothing active, I guess, command-wise, I can basically select an entity. So I'm selecting this T glass label in this third panel. And what happens when I do that is it shows me some properties over here on the left. And there's some basic properties. One is the height of the text, so that's kind of like a font size. And number three, height is basically a good, what our drawing uses as a standard height for text. And then visible, the visibility is visible, it's not bold. So there's some properties here that you can get to. And the one thing I wanted to point out is text string. So if you wanted to edit some text, you're basically clicking on the entity, seeing all the properties over here on the left, and then I can click in the text string box and just start typing something like text string, and I can hit enter, and that'll put it, that'll edit and change that on the drawing. So, and keep in mind to move something, I've selected it, but let's say we want to modify and move it. So we go to modify, move, or I can always hit this little icon on the toolbar over here. So I say move, and now's where we start seeing a command. So I'm going to click on it, and then basically we're telling it that's the thing I want. I have one thing selected. I click on it to tell it that there's no more things to select, and then it's ready for me to start dragging. And I don't have to hold down the mouse button. I can just drag it around. So I can move it down a little bit over, and then I can click the mouse again, and that's where it ends up. And remember, the move command is still active now, so I can actually go to another piece of text like this. Let's say this whole little description down here. Um, so I've selected that, and I can hit left click it again, and actually maybe enter, and then click, and then drag it to where I want, and then click again. So even though I've used this quite a bit, it's still not completely intuitive to me, but I'm sure you'll find the same thing. Unless you're totally used to CAD software, it's just kind of strange. So I'm still in the move command. I select this, and instead of left clicking to tell it, okay, that's all I want, I can actually hit the enter key. And that's where it says one item selected. So you know you've kind of done that. And then I can click on it, release the mouse button, and drag it around, and then left click to place it where it needs to be. So I think there's a little bit of a difference whether we select something first and then go to the modify move, or whether we're already in the modify move command. So that's one of the differences about left clicking on it and hitting enter and things like that. But you'll kind of get used to what the commands look like down here, like where it said selected entities one item. And you'll get familiar with it and see how that works. So now let's say we want to actually add something. So I'm going to hit escape to get out of that move command, and we're going to actually click on the text tool over here, and you'll notice on the bottom left here it says command text, and it's going to basically want you to place it, like where do you want that text to be. So I'm going to point somewhere on the drawing, like right here. I'm going to click, and now it says insertion point, and the next command is rotation angle. If I want this text to be horizontal, I'm just going to click the mouse again without moving it. So now I should be able to start typing something. So it's one thing is you'll notice it's very small, so I can't really see what I'm typing right now. And then I can hit enter. So now if I click on that entity, it gives me the little blue box, so I know it's selected. And you'll notice that the height is 1. So that's like the default text height, which is way too small. So if we want to make it like the rest of the drawing, I'm just going to change that to a 3. And you might as well leave the zeros, but it probably doesn't matter. You don't want it 3000, so yeah, 3.00 or just 3 with no zeros. So then I can put that in, hit enter, and now you'll notice the text is the same size as the rest of the text. And again, I can go down, since this entity is selected, I can go down and edit that string of text. Um, you know, I can put whatever I want here. This is my job. And if I needed to make it larger, I can do that by going up here and call it 4. You'll see the kind of the difference. It's almost like a point size, but it seems like it's more significant than that to me. So I could make it 6, and that's going to be pretty large. So I guess think of it as point size. That's pretty similar. Um, and again, if we want to move that, it's already selected. I go up to modify move, or let's just go to that little tool. So here's the move tool, and it says one item selected. I click again, and now I'm moving it around. And then I click to tell it where to end up. So that's the difference between having something already selected and then going to move, and being in the move command and going and selecting something. So I'm going to select this one. Now I have to hit enter. Now I can click on it and then drag it and move it and click again. So that in a nutshell is the text functionality of this vector draw, the free CAD program. So you can edit text. Obviously you can delete it. I can click an entity and just go either hit my delete key on my keyboard or hit erase on the toolbar there. So we can erase, we can edit, we can add text, we can move the text around. So that is basically it. And that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks.